Alright, working on getting the fuel tank out. So this is looking toward the front of the van. Mercedes makes it really easy with these quick disconnects on the fuel line. So I disconnected those two. Here's a welder going in the background. And I unplugged this connector. And here's the fuel filler neck. So there's a ground wire that I disconnected from up in there. And then I removed the plastic trim, and there was one bolt right there. So now, remove the 6 straps, and the fuel tank should come down. Oh, there's also a return line at the back. Right there, they disconnected. Alright, people have been asking about the Sprinter update and where it's at and what I've gotten done in the last little bit. So I've been working really hard on getting these seat rails installed. These are seat rails out of Volkswagen, California. They're 8 feet long. They're commonly used in Europe in the VW California and I think the VW Caravan. So anyway, there was a lot of work that went into getting these rails in here and mounted safely and having them perfectly straight. And my next project, see a little bit of it, trying to get some closed cell foam to bring the floor up to the same height. And then I've got a pretty exact dimension that I need to come up with of wood in order to come up to the level of the rail. So the floor is going to be a little bit complicated too, just to, like I said, get it all at one level. So anyway, show you how the seat came out. Here's the seat essentially in the riding position all the way forward. It's got full 3-point shoulder belts, headrests. And because I have a 2.5-year-old, it's really, I think, pretty important to have her ride right behind me. She's not going to want to ride in the back of the van. There's also no windows in the very back of the van. There's windows on the side. So anyway, this gets her up nice and close for when we're riding. And the other thing is that this seat will lock in any position every 12 millimeters. So that gives me the ability to move it around. So basically I'll move it back probably a foot or so from this position when we're eating, and there'll be a table between the back seat and the front seats, the front swivel seats. And then when we're in camp, I can push the seat all the way back, which is about 7.5 feet, and that will give me access to the galley that will go here. So I think the galley is going to come out 50 inches long, something like that. So I'll be able to open up all the drawers and all the cupboards without the seat being in the way. We'll go ahead and roll the seat back so you can see how much room that gives. So now I've got a lot of floor space up here for cooking, hanging out, whatever. It also gives me the option of having a high mount bed in the rear. As long as the seat is moved forward from where it's at now, or partially folded, I'll be able to have essentially 2 beds. I'll show you how the bed folds. Now you've got a bed that's 6'2" by 44 inches. Now all the work is actually under the vehicle. Now I don't recommend anyone copy exactly what I do. This is not a how-to video, but I felt like this was safe. In fact, I think it's overkill, but that's my opinion. The idea was there's 7 bolts that come through the floor from the seat. So the idea here was to have not only a backing plate so that the bolts don't just pull through sheet metal. You never want to bolt the seat through just sheet metal. But it's going through 3/16 steel, and that steel incorporates the cross members. And then it continues through the back. Plates up there. This white plate that runs all the way to the rear. Same thing on the other side. Had to remount the tire pressure monitoring system. Another bracket there bolted through the frame. And of course we also have the fuel tank in the way. So I had to drop the fuel tank, and there's virtually no clearance between the top of the fuel tank and the bottom of the floor. So these large nuts wouldn't work. So we had to come up with a low profile captive nut on a strap situation. So that was a lot of work. So yeah, I really like the end product. A ton of work. The seat was expensive. It was a pain to get it here, but I think this is going to be a great layout. Next up, floor. Thank you guys for watching.